Hello, everyone. This is Esperanza, and this is Art from the Heart at St. Augustine's Church. Again, we're doing the session remotely due to the coronavirus pandemic. Now, we are still on the topic of layering, and what we're going to do today is to paint some daffodils using the layering technique. And for this, we would need some colors. For this one, yellow ochre for the petals, orange, green, a little blue, and maybe a little black for the shadows. So, shall we begin? Yes, we shall begin. The first thing we're going to do is to draw the daffodils. In this case, I will draw the daffodils, putting a lot of pressure on my pencil so you can see what I'm drawing. But when you do this at home, draw it lightly with your pencils so that you can erase it easily if you need to. So the first thing to do would be to see what we're actually drawing. So in this case, we're drawing how many? 5 flowers. So we're drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 daffodils. So this is how we're going to do it. And we begin by drawing this one. So it's very simple. It's almost just like a circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then there's a curved line inside. Another curved line. Another curved line. There we go. And this squiggly shape inside it. Okay, that's the first flower. And for our second flower, we draw a circle similar to the first. And then we draw the petals. 1, and then 2, and then 3. Again, if you're drawing this at home, make sure you draw it lightly so that you can erase the lines easily if you want to. Okay, so we draw another set of petals. 1, 2, 3. So now we have 2 flowers, and we draw a third one, which is the one here at the bottom. So we draw something like a circle, but a little bit narrower. And then we draw something like a triangle, but without the tip and without the flat base. And then we start drawing the petals again. So we have 1 petal, 2 petals, 3 petals. So we have 3. Now we draw another 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we need 2 more. So this time it's going to be a little bit narrower. Yes. And then I'm going to draw that shape that looks almost like a triangle. And then I'm going to draw the petals. This time I'm going to draw a flat one here. And then the second one here. Third one. And then another set. 1, 2, 3. So I have my 4th flower and the last one. So there we go. Again, same procedure. Something like a circle, but a little bit flatter, more of an oval. Then something like a triangle without the tip and without the flat base. And then the petals. Then another set of petals. So we now have 5 daffodils. And then we start with the closest one. So we have our stem here for the flower. And yes, I'm being mindful of where the stem is actually coming from the flower. So for this one, and then here's another one. And then here's another one. So here we go. Oh, that's a bit too far from the other line. Sorry about that. So we just keep on drawing until we finish drawing all of the stems. Okay, I have to extend this here. And then I will be erasing some parts of this flower so that when I paint it, I can see more of the paint than the sketch. These are just supposed to be markers if we're actually doing this at home. I can still see the flower on my end. I hope you can see it as well, but if you can't by now, you already have your own drawing. So your own drawing would serve as your guide in painting the daffodil. Okay, I'm still erasing the lines. There would be some lines left, especially with what I've done since since there was so much pressure when I was drawing the flowers. So unlike yours would be easier to erase. So you'd see lesser of the lines and more of the paint. As for my work, it would be slightly different and you would actually see more lines compared to your artwork. But again, it is because I want you to be able to follow how to draw it. So let me finish erasing that. So now we have our sketch, and the first color that we would like to use would be yellow ochre. So I'm using a round brush, and I'm gonna start here where it is furthest from me. So this is not correct. I shouldn't paint that bit because I only should paint the petals with yellow ochre. Now, I won't be mindful of whatever it is that is drawn in the petals because I will just paint a layer over that later on. So I'm just painting all of them, as you can see. So that's one flower fully painted. Now the next one, again yellow ochre. And if you just did the drawing lightly, you can actually adjust the size of the flower just by using the paint because you won't see too much of the pencil marks. But in this case, I can't do that because I can see the pencil marks. So this one. Well, this looks a little bit big. It just means that the flower is close to me. And this one seems to be a little bit further. Even if it's in front, it bends backwards, thus making the flower look smaller. Okay, okay, that's not right. I should only paint the petals. So I'm painting the petals. And then one more flower to go. So I'm painting the petals, one petal, then two petals, three, four, And then the rest of the petals. There we go. So now we painted the petals. The next thing to do is to get some orange paint. But before we do that, we have to ensure that the yellow ochre that we painted on the paper is dry. So to me, it seems that it has not dried completely. So what I need to do is to set this aside and let it dry completely before I put the next layer on. Okay, most of it is now dry. So I will start with the flower which is completely dry. And I will paint orange on that flower. And I will cover the part that's yellow ochre. Now to make it more exciting, I am going to make this a bit jagged, these edges, because in reality, if we look at daffodils, the edges are not perfectly circular. So it's more of like that. In this case, I will paint all of this inside. Okay. Okay, that's two flowers done. And then I will proceed to this one. And the reason why I'm painting these flowers first is because they are completely dry. So while the rest are drying, because there's still some slight moisture on the other two, I will paint the flowers which have completely dried. So in this case, again, the edges. Okay, a little bit jagged over there. Now I need to check which one is completely dry. Okay, this one is completely dry. There's still a small bit there that's not dry, but by the time I finish painting this one, this should be completely dry. So here we go, just painting it with orange. And then the edges, make them a little bit jagged. Okay, and now we're gonna go to this one. Again, same technique. Okay, here I'm lifting some of the orange and transferring it here. And as I've mentioned, lifting colors, that's actually the next activity we're going to do. We would need to lift the colors. Okay, so the first one I'm going to lift would be coming from here. So that's first. And then the second one be from here, just like that, a little bit jagged in movement. And then here as well. There we go. And then here. Okay, I need some more orange paint for the edges. So I'm just gonna get some more of that. Add some water, mix, and then just drop them here on the edges. And this new paint would follow the shape, the original shape. And if there's too much, we'll just lift it. Okay, here we go. Okay. We're almost finished. Now for this one, it's going to be different. We're going to paint the inside of that squiggly shape. Okay, same thing here. I'm just gonna paint this bit. Again, just let the paint follow the shape. And there we go. Okay, we painted all the orange bit. As I mentioned earlier, we might have put too much orange paint. So again, we will lift that. Okay. Okay, we can do that. We can add the drop of water at the center and then let our dry brush absorb the paint. Okay, so that one's done. And for this one, I won't drop any water. I'm just going to let the brush absorb it. Rinse the brush. Okay, so we have that now. Okay, I'm doing this again. Similar to this one, I'm not going to add water. I'm just, okay, I am just going to lift the paint off. And then we have this one. Again, okay, for this one, I would need to add a little bit of water. So that we can lift more paint off. Okay, maybe a little more water for that. Okay. And let me go back to this one facing us. Okay, I'm gonna add another drop of water. Then lift. Okay, that's even better. Oh, no, that's now much, much lighter. I'm still not satisfied. I still want to leave some more color, so let me do that. Okay, perfect. It's now how I like it. And the next bit would be to paint the stem screen. So let me just do that. I'm gonna paint the stem screen. Maybe lighten it a bit. Okay, so I start here, near the petals, then go down. If you can do it in one stroke, even better. Usually it's dependent on what kind of brush you're using. The kind of brush you're using is actually very important. Okay, so we have that over there. I'm just running through that. And then this one. Okay, we're almost done. Two more stems to go. And then we can start with the leaves. Okay, one more stem. And there we go. We now have all the stems for our daffodil. Now we will paint the leaves. So for the leaves, we're going to make it this one stroke. Okay. And by the way, this is darker green, which is actually the original green that I have. For the stems, I added a little yellow to it because I wanted it to be a little bit lighter. Okay, now I'm going to use the lighter green paint, make more leaves. Okay, and from that we can also see the layers. There we go. More leaves. And the reason we're adding more leaves is to give the art piece balance, which is very important in any of our artworks. Okay, let me have more of that paint. Okay, maybe we'll use some darker ones here, just to give it that drama. Maybe even darker one. So let's try that here. Okay, maybe another one here. Again, to give it balance. And there we go. We're almost finished. Okay, now if we want it to look more realistic, we're going to put some shadows. And with that, we're going to put some layers of black or maybe Payne's gray. In this case, I will use black. And by that, I mean like this area. Because if our sunlight is coming from the top, then of course, there should be some shadow. So that will be our shadow. It has to be real light. And I will spread it a little bit to make it look softer and more natural. And then some more of that. There we go. And just here. Again, I'm gonna spread that with some water just to soften it. Maybe lift some of the shadows here. Oh, and maybe add some here. Okay. Because there are shadows. There should be shadows over there. And then for this one, a little bit here, a little bit here, and a little bit there. So again, we'll soften that a bit. Wow, it's almost finished. Ah, we're forgetting something here. This one, This one should have some shadow over here and also in the inside of it. Because remember, it is still almost closed. Okay. So certain parts of this one should be darker. And there we go. Last one. Okay. I think this one needs more shadow. Again, let's make it look more natural. And then we're finished. So this is our artwork. Okay. With shadows. Well, for some, you might want to put some green stuff like the pollens inside. We'll do that, okay? We'll do that. Now, the colors of daffodils might vary depending on the variety. There are even some which are pink, white. It can vary. So let's see how our final output looks. Ta-da! So these are our daffodils, and these were painted using the technique of layering. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye-bye.